Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of HR to CHRO podcasts. And today we have Miss Sapna with us. She started her career with Pantaloons, then she joined Future Group, then she shifted to DHL Logistics, and then to Hospitality Sterling Holidays, then Mahindra Holidays, and currently she's into entertainment. She's CHRO of Qube Cinema. So, welcome, Sapna. Thanks for giving us time.
Hi Amit, hello everyone. Thanks for inviting me, Amit, for this conversation. Looking forward to it.
Our pleasure. And great to see that more and more girls are also now part of our podcast series. So lovely to have you. So, Sapna, to start with, why HR? Why did you decide to start your career in HR?
Okay, so Amit, I'm not sure if I would be able to give you the answer which probably you're looking for, but for me it was not a planned one. I have done my MBA in marketing and HR. In fact, majored in marketing and minor in HR. Uh, and it just happened when you start learning HR papers and when you learn about OD, it gets you interested. Um, so it was more from that curiosity perspective that I decided let me try and get into HR field. Otherwise, nothing to do with that I love people or anything. No, nothing of that sort. Yeah,
Vivek,
but
looking at your career journey, so you have
yeah.
been into industries which are more B2C, whether we talk about retail, whether we talk about hospitality, and now into entertainment. So was that a conscious decision to choose such industries, or did it happen automatically?
Actually, not so, because if you look at it, I would say out of my 20 years of career, I would have spent 11 years in B2C and 9 years in B2B because I worked with DHL Logistics, which was
Correct.
freight forwarding, which was B2B. And currently I'm working with Qube, which is again B2B.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. So it was
Acha, I
only
understand.
Future Group and Sterling and Mahindra, which was B2C.
So it wasn't a challenge to move from one industry into another different ball game altogether, or did it excite you? That's why you took it, or you wanted to take, challenges. That's why you took it.
Yeah, so I think I'm usually a person who likes to take a bit of a risk, and also when you work in the same industry, say for 5 years, some point of time you start feeling that what next, and you want to learn something else. So also HR being a function, more or less people are the same, and so even though you change industry, you change organization, you're dealing with the same human behavior, right?
Correct.
Uh, so the only way you can have a change is if you change the industry, then you're learning about a new industry, which is quite interesting. And second aspect is that with every change of organization industry, the scope will vary. So yeah, so for me, it has been always about, is there something new? Is there something new to learn?
And is this a very powerful stepping stone to reach the highest level? Taking risks. See, I feel very passionately about it, taking risks. Why?
Mm,
I'll tell you. So when I started my career, I'm talking about some 23, 24 years back. I mean, I started my career in 97, but after I had gained certain experience, so whenever we would be transferred into some other city in sales or into some other division, the first reaction would be that I should not do this, or I shouldn't allow my seniors to do that, because
mm,
I've learned the territory in sales. Now business is comfortable, the dealers are giving good business, so why should I venture into new territory, new challenges, and all that. But now it has been 20 to 23 years with that mindset, and now I realize that unless you move into new territories, new challenges, face new challenges, you don't grow as fast as you are capable of.
mm,
So this statement that I liked taking risks. So this is so powerful. So something on this from your side, Sapna.
So, from a career perspective, if you are asking if that helps, to grow faster, I would say it helps to grow faster if you're within the same organization. Like, say,
Okay.
if I'm working with Cube, and if I'm a person who is very open to learn and take a risk here and there, then of course it helps, you know. because the organization starts seeing you as someone who is open to learn,
Mm-hmm.
seeing you as someone whom they can always reach out to when nobody else is there to take up something, you know. So that definitely helps. But moving from industry to industry is tough
Okay.
because the natural preference is always to hire people from the same industry. It's easier, right? So I don't know if that helps in growth, but
Mm-hmm.
within the same organization, if you're someone who
Mm-hmm.
takes that little risk, I'm not talking about, I think, and it's safer to take risk within the same organization if you've performed well in the past, right, in some role. So they know that you're capable of something else. So even if you take risk and if you fail, it's still acceptable. So these things is better and is appreciated, is seen and recognized if you do it within your organization.
But you changed your industry from B2B to B2C to B2B. So did that help
Actually,
you?
Amit, it wasn't planned or anything.
Okay.
I never have thought about it like that because, as I said, I have been in HR for last 20 years and human behavior is the same everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's only the context, the business that you operate, and the context and the scope which changes. But otherwise, it's more or less the same. So if you ask me on today's date, after 20 years, I feel some point of time it gets repetitive, if you're the same function. So then the question is that can you do something else other than HR?
Correct. Yeah, I understand. Now we have so many CHROs going on to a CEO role.
Of
And
course.
that's happening more and more nowadays
Yeah.
because the world that we live in and mental health issues and people function. So you have to understand people first, whether you are a CEO or any CXO level, which HR people, because they have been trained to do that to a larger extent or to a bigger extent, are can fit into more easily, I feel.
Yeah, that's true. And also, there has been a shift in the way HR has been, right? Now,
Correct.
HR is not limited to just those HR initiatives and HR function. HR also is needed, required, and has the ability and does understand business and the market well.
Correct.
So that was a disconnect earlier. The perception, I think, still it is there. Yesterday, I was interviewing someone, and they told me, "You're in HR, but you're talking about business so much." So still, do people do carry that? But the fact is that over a period of time, HR is so close to business. So which was always a area of concern for HR guys not to move into a business head or a CEO position was that do they really understand the business and the operations? So I think that gap is bridged over a period of time. So if an HR has a fair deal of understanding about how financials work, how the market operates, how the business works, and on top of it, HR is capable of handling people and people nuances. So that becomes the best combination, I would say.
Correct. Very right. Very right. See, now with the advent of technology, there are so many things that you can do, you know, even if you are not, even if it's not your domain, so as to say, but if you have some basic understanding, if you have tried to learn about it, then using the tools available, you can sufficiently well do that. But
Yeah.
having the people understanding is the most important thing, which is especially this
And that
Gen Z.
comes with a lot of experience, right?
Correct.
It's not that you learn something and can directly go and just roll it out or try to execute it. Most of the times, what you read in books, if you go and just try to roll it out, it'll just backfire. So
So
experience matters.
So we'll talk about your advice to young HR professionals to be business savvy, to learn about finance, to learn about sales, and to learn about operations. But before that, so your advice to any young HR professional or any professional for that matter who has been given a challenging task in terms of a new territory, in terms of a new job role, in terms of something extra, something different from what he or she has been doing. So what would be your advice to such a professional?
Hmm. So one is that be open about it. There is a possibility that you enter. People may look at you differently because you're an outsider. There is a possibility you enter and you feel unsafe, insecure because you don't probably have the required domain knowledge, because it's a new territory for you. Said that there's nothing that you can't learn.
Correct.
If you have certain level of IQ and certain level of people skill you can learn. The best is to stay humble and have every possible conversation and interaction possible from where you can learn more and more, figuring out who are the people, who hold the best domain knowledge of out there and learn from them. And
Any
second is, I think, hard work. There is
correct,
no shortcut to hard work.
correct. Any examples you would like to share where you navigated such a challenging scenario in your life?
So I have, as I said, I have changed industries. So it was always tough. First time when I moved from B2C to B2B, when I joined DHL, it was a tough one because the terminologies that they use, everything was new. So it was about actually literally sitting down and reading through and learning. Like going back to your college days and really learning what are the terminologies which are used in the freight forwarding industry. It's a very unique industry, right?
Correct,
Which you probably don't hear about when you're in your college or you read about much. So that learning was critical, especially if you're handling talent acquisition, then your business understanding is very, very important.
correct.
Secondly, today I also look into other areas, some other business as well in my current organization, not just HR. Okay, I
Okay,
do
very
on
nice.
other business, which was completely new and I had no idea. But I would really thank the level of information which is available today on internet, right? You can spend a few weeks, few months to really understand what the business is about, who are your competition, how does this business operate within your country, globally, what are the success parameters, and how the org structure, what is the org design, what is the workflow. You can learn all of it.
Very
I'm not
nice.
saying you can become expert, but you
Correct.
can learn.
So this is very exciting. So being into HR, handling a tough or maybe a challenging assignment like a CHRO, you have taken different assignments related to business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. And you took it by on your own. You took an initiative to ask for such assignments.
Yeah, so there was an initiative because when I completed 5 years and since I completed 20 years in HR, as I was saying, somewhere there was this feeling that am I learning something new or am I getting saturated? So, saturation, when I say it's not about being saturated in terms of your designation or your compensation, but purely from learning perspective. You know. So I did have a discussion with my CEO on is there anything else that I can do, and to my surprise, and all credit goes to my CEO and the organization that we work. He was very open and he gave me a list of things actually. He told
Very
me
nice.
choose. Yeah, he said choose. And he was like, you have all these possibilities because he is a believer that someone who has some fair sense of business and who can learn. And being in HR, at the end of the day, your business success depends upon how well you built the organization, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, and that skill HR comes with. So for a leader, which is very important. So that's how I took it over, and it was a new business. So it required a lot of team building, reorganization, setting the workflows, and figuring out what is the best way of operating. So yeah, so that was it. So of course, as I said, you have to show interest also, right?
Correct. Very, very
Otherwise,
powerful.
yeah.
Very powerful, Sapna. So as per you, a young HR professional, once he or she has settled down in whatever he or she is doing, so let's say in talent acquisition, so he or she maybe should look for opportunities to learn compensation and benefit, maybe,
Of course.
or maybe some other HR stream like training.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And how can that person? So is the best way to go and ask one's supervisor, or is there any other way where you can find such opportunities?
So say, Amit, which a new organization will be hesitant to take risk on you, right? If I come from a talent acquisition background, I won't get hired for comp and ben. Let's be very clear with it.
Correct.
That's the fact. So if you are in an organization, the only way is to you figure it out within your organization because you have your past performance to talk about you. There's a lot of trust that you would have built. So it's easier for you to go and say that, see, I want to now learn something else and I'm open to learn. So that interest has to come from your side. You cannot wait for someone else to come and tell you can do that, you can do this. Then I think some kind of time you will be stuck where you are.
Correct. Very nice. See, and this is a common factor amongst all the podcasts that we have done. One common factor which comes out is that you have to be hungry to take more responsibilities to learn. And I think this is one of the secrets to the young professionals who are listening. This is one of the secrets on how to reach the next level faster. Very nice, Sapna. So we were talking about how to learn about other aspects of the organization. Like, see, when I started HR, like you also said, it was considered as a support function, but now it's a strategic partner with a seat on the table. So, how can a young HR professional learn more about maybe sales, maybe more about operations, and about finance?
So I would take actually I will just zoom out and say it has to start from the market. You have to understand the market in which your organization operates.
Okay,
You know the industry. If you understand what the end market, the market environment in which you operate, and everything flows from there, right? It's outside in. It is not inside out.
correct.
Yeah, yeah. So how your market reacts? What are your market responses to your organization's product or services and the industry? Uh, so, and today you have so much of information available there. You can just sit and read. You can reach out to people. There's so much of social media. You can reach out to people and talk to them and learn more. So if you understand the market, then is when you understand your own business. And that is when you come to understanding about. I'm assuming if you're an MBA, you will have some understanding on financials. You can read a P&L and L and a balance sheet. And if you cannot, then you should learn. It's very important that an HR guy is able to talk in numbers, understand numbers.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah. So I think it's again from within you. If you show interest, and you tell me, Amit, if you reach out to anybody today, okay, say if you want to learn about financials or you want to learn marketing, whatever, you go and sit with your. If you can reach out to your CMO or you can reach out to your VP marketing or anybody and tell them that you want to have a conversation with them. You find their job very interesting, their role and what they do, what they contribute. You want to learn a little more. Who does not like to talk?
Correct. 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 So, like you said, the initiative has to come from the person itself. People are more than willing to help.
Have
Very right.
enough and more resources out there. And I also believe you have enough time in your life also. These are just excuses which we make. So if you deeply feel you can do more, you can learn more, you can do it.
I'll come back to this. You have enough time, but see, why am I coming back to this point? See, one of the major problems which I feel during my workshops is people either they don't have vision in the sense because of the society that we live in where we are constantly since childhood we are constantly put down, reprimanded. Don't try this, it's very difficult, you can't do it, and it's not possible. So people somehow maybe lose that zeal or that vision that they can also reach the top. In my
Mm.
workshops, for example, if I talk to 10 people and I ask them that where do you see yourself at the end of your career, hardly
Mm.
one out of 10 would raise their hand and say that I'll be the CEO of this company or even a bigger company. Most of them would picture themselves as one or two levels higher or three levels
Mm.
higher, not that five or six level higher. So the point I'm trying to make is to have that vision that yes, I am also good enough to reach the top. Because if you don't have that vision, you don't take risks.
Mm.
So when we're talking about taking risks, so did you have that vision or that self belief that yes, I can take this challenging task, that yes, I can change industries? So what was the origin of that self belief or that confidence of taking up challenges?
See, I was from beginning very career oriented. Okay, so I'm not saying, and when we say having the ability to think big and think long term, being very aspirational. Uh, what I would say is that for everyone, it is not the same route. So today, if say I'm a manager, uh, and not necessarily I want to become the head of sales or head of marketing or CEO. Probably I'm in transition. My purpose of life is very different. I'm passionate about doing something else actually.
I understand.
Okay. And this could be a phase of, I work for a few years and then I'll move to something else. My long-term aspirations were different. Uh, so I don't believe that success has to be very straightforward in the same channel, in the same direction. Okay. For different people, it is different. And it also changes every few years, right? When you were in your late 20s, when somebody would have asked you, Amit, what is that you want to do? You would
Correct.
have said that in ICSA, you were with ICSA, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I want to become this regional head, then I want to become national head or something of that sort,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Yeah. But when you reach then that 30 or 32, you realize probably this is not what I want to do.
Correct.
Okay, my thinking has changed, my aspirations, my purpose of life has changed by then, and you took a detour. So there would be people who figure that out in a later stage of life and take a detour. So very difficult to say there has to be a success mantra that this is what I did, this is how it will work. Because I also strongly believe that everyone is not meant to do the same thing. People have
Correct.
different abilities. Yeah.
Very nicely put, Sapna. So coming back to enough time. See, right now, the biggest problem again with people we train is they say they don't have time. If I ask them that how many of you or how many of us have spent in the last 2 years have learned some certification course or some new learning, then not even 5% would raise their hands in the last 2 years. So now when I ask them why, they say they don't have time. So to a certain extent, like you said, that if you are driven or if you are interested, you are always able to find time, like you said. So that is the case, yes, because many of these people, today's generation or even older, they spend a lot of time, on mobile, Instagram, swiping reels and etc. So they go to sleep late, they wake up late. But having said that, also time has become a problem in the sense traffic issues, and other issues, pollution. So this is one side, that the time has shortened, so as to say. So how to find time, that is one. Secondly, in my workshops I'm always able to guide men on how to save time, because they take so many cigarette breaks, coffee breaks, they swipe Instagram at night, and it's very easy to find out that yes, these are the 2 hours, 3 hours you waste every day in your daily life. This is how you can learn mind techniques to change, to
Mm.
make them more productive. But when we talk to the girls, they are already so productive.
Mm.
Most of the women, they wake up and then they cook food for their family, then they get the kids ready, then they leave for their office, then they come back, then they again look after the dinner preparation, then they teach their kids. They they hardly waste any time. So I'm at a loss that how do I make them more productive. So then very humbly I say that in 1 hour, in 1 week, try taking out 30 minutes or improving, because they are already doing that. So in that scenario, how can a young HR professional, both genders, and also how can a young HR professional who's a lady can take out more time to learn more about business, to learn more about operation, sales, other things, and also do a good job on which their daily KRAs or KPIs are dependent?
Mm.
How
Mm.
to do that? How can they do that?
So one thing is that having a discipline that I think is irrespective of the gender.
Very nice.
Yeah, you need to have some level of discipline. You need to have routine sets. It If you set a routine, if you have a schedule, you need to follow it religiously. And if you want to do something more, it will never be easy.
Correct.
It will be demanding. So that could mean that probably you sleep half an hour less. It could mean that you wake up half an hour before, or it could mean that you keep someone to cook food for you. Okay. It could mean that you let your husband or whosoever the resources are around you, your help support system, to get activated and take more help. There's nothing wrong in it. I think women find it, there's this guilt thing, right? Women are always, and I also don't know whether it's a society, sometimes society does, but a lot of times women themselves feel that they need to do it all.
Correct.
or they start feeling guilty, like I only should look after my child. I only should get my child to get ready to school. Why so? Why can't your husband do it? Or why can't somebody else do it? At least till the time you have to, if you have a calendar that you want to learn something which requires you to take half an hour to 1 hour more, change that responsibility to somebody else. Okay. Why do you need to cook yourself? If you can afford to keep a cook, why don't you keep a cook? If you can get a help, why don't you get a help?
Correct.
Yeah. So sometimes you just get stuck between things. Like I was recently talking to someone in my team, and she was struggling, young mother, two children, the help stopped coming, daycare and stuff. So someone asked me, Sapna, how did you manage? I have a son, of course, he's in college now. I said I had my priorities very clear. Okay, my priority was my career is important, my child is important for me. Okay, so you need to have your priorities clear. You can't have it all. So I kept it, I could afford, okay, afford in the sense it was early stage of my career, but it was okay. It's the price that I'm paying. I did keep a help who was either coming in the morning or till night or who was staying overnight. Now, if somebody stays overnight with you, of course, you know, your privacy and all of that is another question which comes into it. Or somebody else in your house is not comfortable with it. But that's the price I pay for it, right? If you want
Correct.
to get something, you have to let go of something. There's always a price attached to everything. You can't have it all in life.
Correct.
Yeah. So when I asked her, why don't you keep someone full time, the question was like, oh no, my husband does not like it, and then I don't like it. Then I said, then you deal with your problems. So
See,
take the help. Resources are available. There's nothing wrong in saying no to certain things. There's nothing wrong in allocating that piece of work to someone else for a short duration till you
correct.
overcome. Yeah.
I was talking to a senior HR lady, and so I was talking to her, and so same time management problem. So my advice was that why don't you hire a driver? Because she was driving every day, one and a
Yeah.
half hours one side, 3 hours. So, but then she was like, it will cost this much, and should I invest? Maybe I should invest in on something else. So, I said, you think about it, but I think this is my advice would be that because
Absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree, and I also probably belong to that bucket where I also don't keep a driver. I drive, but I'm also a person who likes to live close to my office rather than spending. The moment I feel that I'm spending more than 45 minutes in travel, I immediately shift my base. I'm like, I don't want to drive.
that's yeah, that's better. So, but then sometimes the school of the kids and all those
I
is
agree. So that's what I'm saying. So there are priorities that you have to set, right?
correct.
So as you said, if you can afford to hire a driver, why not hire a driver? You can sit and read during that time, or you can
Correct.
nap,
Correct.
take a nap.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So see, Sapna, we have talked about taking risks. We have talked about, um, have knowledge of financials, operations. We have talked about being humble, learning, going to people and learning, hard work. We have talked about managing time and discipline. So what else? What else does a young HR professional need?
I think the drive is very important, Amit. The drive, the perseverance, the patience, and not in specific to just HR. When I
Correct.
also meet sometimes, young students, who are just out of the college and who are freshers who have joined campus to corporate kind of group, I feel they lack these things. The drive to really go after something.
Mm-hmm.
The perseverance, you can fail, you may have rejections, objections, and all of that. How do you take it? This is where I think the mental health comes into play. Nowadays, it's also become very fashionable to say that I have a therapist. So organizations do have counselors and therapists, but the perseverance is important. Hard work, as I said, there's nothing else other than hard work. And patience, not being very short tempered, get having the patience to see that things will come around. It would mean that probably it takes an year or more, but you have to be persistent on what you really want to do.
Some example you would like to share here, Sapna?
So, Amit, in my life, what specifically I'm not able to say. Let me see if I recollect. But in my life, what I've seen is that certain things come to you only at its own time.
Okay.
You may, especially promotion. Yeah, to give you
No, but
to
the
give you.
problem is when we start comparing. So
Yeah.
in my career also, I mean, from MBA from a decent institute, it was like this classmate is getting so much package, that classmate, his or her package is this much. So why are you still here? So are you doing something wrong? So you start having those self doubts. So patience, like you said, especially at those times. So mentorship is it how much does a mentor help giving a perspective in these times? Did you have a mentor in your life?
I have had mentors. Yeah, I've had definitely people who have helped me to navigate through my life, and I'm very thankful to them. Uh, I have someone by name Rajiv Nambiar, whom I've known for last I think 18 years from the very
Okay.
beginning of my career. I've directly worked with him very less, but he's my go-to person when I'm in doubt. I also have a coach actually who from time to time makes me think. Okay. And also kind of a sounding board, which I have. So this definitely help. And when we talk about coach, person is also a functional coach. So when you're on top, you're alone. I'm sure
Correct.
you would have heard about it, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So you don't have then anyone else to reach out to. So it's very important that you have. That's another advice, probably. I don't know if advice is the right word, but it's always have a good network of people who whom you respect, who are better than you, and whom you can always reach out and have a very intellectual conversation, subject related or industry related or market related, just to get a perspective. And sometimes we only see what we see. There could
Correct.
be a different aspect and angle to it who helps you to see that. So that having that strong network is also very, very important. So be smart to choose your circle, as they say.
You you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with.
Sorry.
You are the, I mean, as the saying goes, that you are an average of the five people you
Correct.
spend the. So
Exactly. Yeah, you're the average of the five people that you spend time with. Yeah, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. So choose your circle smartly, and that's very important because, as I said, knowledge is enough and more out there on the internet and web.
correct.
But what the experience part, no, that's very important.
So how to go about building this support system, this network?
So this someone had told me long back because by nature I'm not a very extrovert person. I don't find it very comfortable. I naturally don't not comfortable to go out to people and start a conversation. I think probably over a period of time I've got little comfortable, but if you ask me 10, 12 years back, I'm totally not that person. Uh, so someone told me if you cannot you're not a person who can have too many people around you, and then you have only five people around you. Okay, but ensure those five people are very well connected.
Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Very nice. So, see, we talked about having discipline and having a routine and a schedule, which
Mm.
again, what I find people, generally are missing on. So, how to build that routine? Because, see, why, as a mind programmer, if you have a routine, your mind gets fooled into thinking that everything is all right. This is one of the mind techniques to have a routine. So it is very important to have that routine where you go to sleep early and you wake up early and whatever. But let's hear it from your mouth. So how do you what routine do you follow, and what would be your advice to people to have the routine that they should have?
See, when I say routine, no, what I mean is that routine so that you don't procrastinate things. Okay,
Right,
you
right.
do what is important so that you don't feel guilty about it. It's done and over. So the rest of the time that you have for you is what you can use creatively for yourself for whatever you want to do. Okay, this is what routine is, what I meant by routine, because it helps me to remove all that which is there in my head, and my mind is free. When I sit down, I have finished whatever I have to do necessarily, And then my mind is free, I am free. And when I'm looking into something and sitting, I'm completely 100% out there.
Correct. So this
Yeah.
is very powerful. Don't procrastinate. See, when we were talking about, you were talking about your DHL stint where you needed time to read, to learn more about the industry. How did you find that time? So by not procrastinating, I mean sometimes we tend to postpone. Okay, I have to read
Mm.
this chapter, this book. I'll do it later, rather than scheduling a time for it. So what is your way? Do you schedule a time for something important so that you can done and it can be done and dusted with, and then you can focus, or how do you go about it?
Yeah, typically that's what I do when I feel that I'm missing out on something or something is important which needs to be included in my routine or a schedule. I actually pull out some time for it.
Very nice.
Say half an hour, 1 hour, whenever it is, just before the bedtime or early in the morning. There are times when I wake up and do that first because I believe you're fresh at that point
Correct.
of time,
Correct.
and no one else is awake in your home then. So
Correct.
it's just you. Yeah.
There are no phone
So
calls, no emails.
and no emails and no one else is awake, so there's nothing you have to attend to. Even if you just get up and walk out and sit and read somewhere or whatever you want to do, there are times when I'm sure everybody do that. You wake up and you make presentations in the morning. You sometimes sit late at night and you work because you want to complete something or finish reading something. So I definitely add it to my schedule. If it is important for me, I'll make time for it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So how important is waking up early? How important is scheduling time on a Sunday for the coming week? How important is these basic habits, doing a day end review? What all do you do and what?
So I'm not a very structured person, Amit. Okay, though I am talk. So what happens is that you also have a sense when you go off track, right? We all
Okay.
know it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So when you feel that you're going off track is when I put this routines and schedules into my calendar.
Okay.
It's also just to bring back those habits and come back on track. So I think rather than anybody else, if you start watching yourself, you will get a sense when you're getting stressed. So
Correct.
other belief, okay, which I have, and I think it has worked beautifully for me, is that if you're stressed, okay, you're stressed because you're not acting upon something,
Okay.
okay, and there are two aspects to it. One is that there are a lot of things which you cannot do anything about it,
Correct.
right? Yeah. So you have to first reason it out whether this is something that you can have an impact, can you make a change or not, or is
Mm-hmm.
something that you really cannot do anything. Okay. If something that you really cannot contribute or make a change, then just accept that and stay
Mm-hmm.
away from it. You know, this is how it is. I can only stand and watch or wait and watch. But if it is something that most of the things you can do something about it, right?
Correct.
So it's important to find out, what is that I can do, and you can only find that out if you understand deeper about the problem out there. What is
Mm-hmm.
causing you the stress? If
Mm-hmm.
you can go to the root cause of your stress and start acting towards it,
Okay.
and I bet the moment you take 2 steps, okay, towards the action, you will see your stress levels are dropped.
Very nice. Very powerful.
So anything uncertain, something which you are not aware of, will definitely create stress for you. Like when you have a job change, or you have a new role, or you have been given a new geography, whatever. It is quite stressful because it's new, right? So what can you do? So start learning more about it. Okay, start working towards that. And the moment you start working towards that, you will see that your stress levels are coming down. You feel that things are in your control.
Very
So
nice.
action is the key.
Very nice. Like Mr. Einstein used to say that you can't think of a solution of a problem at the level you thought of the problem. So you have to
Yeah.
rise one step ahead.
Correct, correct. Or one step, down. You have to
Or
look into
correct.
it much more deeper and see
Correct.
what is going on. And because in many a times what you feel is causing the stress for you is a very superficial feel of it. The root may not be that.
Correct.
But unless you don't seriously understand what is the reason, you don't sit and uh, take out time to understand yourself, what actually is causing this stress to me, you cannot address it. So, when you address, you can only address it through action. Start working
Correct.
towards
Correct. Very powerful, Sapna. All right. So during the course of your journey, of your career journey, some interesting challenge which you encountered and then how you overcame that. Some interesting life instance.
it. So, I would say I overcame it, but I've had my lifetime learning out of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So in my first job, I worked in my first organization for 6.5 years, and I did really well over there. It had reached a stage where you know that you know the system and the people, and things just work, right? You grow comfortable. Uh, but I had an issue with my boss, who was a CHRO, because I felt that he didn't really stand up for me when he should have stood up. Okay, whereas my COO stood up for me, but my own boss did not stand up. You know, and uh, and I decided to quit.
Okay.
Okay, uh, and when I look back, I feel that was very immature. That's why I'm saying, being patient,
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I look back, I feel it was very immature to make that decision immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could have taken time, understood little more about it, and done what is best for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, because the moment you quit, then the pressure to get another job is high on you, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
but you can be always smart to see, okay, he didn't support you, why was it? That is one aspect. You could have had a conversation with him on, you know why it went like this. Second, you could have taken your own time to figure out a better job and move, so that
Correct.
you are not getting stressed because of this.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's
Correct.
something that I will never repeat in my life.
Correct. So don't take impulsive decisions. Think about it.
Yes.
Take
Mm.
well-planned decisions. See, nowadays, sometimes when I'm talking to youngsters during my session, sometimes they say that my boss gave me a negative feedback, and I'm
Mm.
not able to get out of it, get over it, or something on similar lines. That some instance, and I've gone into a very demotivating state, or even deeper than that. So, how to handle those situations? Just be patient, like you were saying.
So this kind of situation can happen to anyone at any
Correct.
point of career. Amit. Today also, if my boss gives me a feedback, it takes you some time to accept, right? Yeah. The key is taking time. You give yourself a couple of days or a week before you make any decision on that. You know, and it's okay. You can get angry about it. You can get upset. Those are normal human ways of reacting to a situation, right? And emotions. You can get angry. You can get upset. But if you want to reason yourself out of it, whether it was justified or not, the best way is to just sit down and write down, what has worked well for you. Okay.
Okay, very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. What has worked well for you? Why are you here?
Okay.
And then talk about what has happened. And then see in front of all that has worked for you and why are you here, does that still hold good? What happened? Is it such a big issue? And also understanding that the person on the other side is also human, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you can have impulse reaction sometimes. Probably
Correct.
people don't always talk what they mean. Sometimes they
Correct.
mean different and they talk different. So
Correct. So many issues happening. Divorces are so common nowadays. At homes, people are facing so many challenges. I mean, we don't know people's lives, why they are behaving the way they are behaving.
exactly, yeah.
Correct. So being empathetic. Well, let's see, two things. One was taking risks. Second is having that drive to succeed. Like you said, that it's very important to have that drive. So how can one create that drive? Is it something inbuilt, or does it relate to goal setting, or does it relate to having that self-belief that yes, I can be whatever I want to be? Where does this drive come from, and how can it be developed?
So, Amit, because since we work with organization and people, many a times there could be a set of people with whom you would have tried different ways of motivating them, but it may not still work. Instinctively, it is not there. Okay, like how they say, some people cannot be coached. Please accept that. Okay, I'm also a coach, so everybody is not coachable.
Correct.
which you
Correct.
figure out in the first two conversations that it will work out or not. Either way. So, but majority of the people, if you can understand, what motivates them, what drives them, and that's different for different people.
Correct.
And if there can be a match in their purpose, their motivators, and the job role that they have, if there is a match or the project that they're handling, and with the required support, what we call, and also in my organization, we always say that the leadership and the HR job is that of an enabler.
Correct.
So with the required support and if there are people who can help you to enable, then I think automatically that would come, the drive would come.
I
But
understand.
anything that we do, one is that there's a value for the organization. There has to be value for the individual also. Unless you don't see something for yourself, you don't get motivated, right?
Correct.
So figuring out that aspect is important. Is the person in the right place? What you call fitment, right? Typically, the right fit. So is the person in the right place? Sometimes it happens somebody is in some department which is not what the person wants to be, right? We have cases where someone is into, say, theatre marketing is one department of our theatre management, but which is too much on the field and business development. But this person could be a person who actually wants to get into production, creative side of it.
I understand.
So unless you don't understand that this person's aspirations are different and try to match it, whatever you do here, the drive will not come.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Very nice. So we are talking a lot about the Gen Z. Gen Z, it's very difficult. So what would be your take on that?
I think they're a very smart bunch of people. Okay. So I'm not negative about them. I want to start with that. Very smart. Today, actually, when I was doing an interview, somebody was telling me how he finds this newcomers, the Gen Z, so-called Gen Z, if you give them the right direction. Okay. And they do your work much faster than
Correct.
what your older generations will do.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But what I see about Gen Z is that this match what we spoke, what is my passion, what is my value system, what I want to do, that match is very important. Okay. They are high on risk taking. They don't mind quitting midway. They're not worried about tomorrow. I think it's also because this generation they does not have much of responsibility.
Correct.
Like as in that I have to earn and I have to feed my parents.
Correct.
Of course, there is a community, there is a class of people who would require, but most of them, parents, your millennial parents are independent. Okay,
Correct.
they are not counting on your children
Correct.
earning and taking care of you. And Gen Z is aware that our parents are pretty independent to the extent that I can actually go and take shelter there if needed.
Correct.
They'll take care of me also.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's why you will see they speak a lot about overall well-being,
Correct.
mental wellness. They will talk about the working culture, how they're getting treated, because these things are very important for them. They need other thing. Actually, we did a study in my organization where what we did is that we segregated employees as per their age group. Okay, and we looked at that specific age bracket. What are your necessities? Okay, and then what are your motivators? The idea was to build a benefit system which would cater to different age groups.
Very nice.
So if you take people who are in between 20 to 29, you have income, okay? You don't have much of responsibilities, okay? But today's generation also values empowerment and inclusivity. Inclusivity is their word. When they say inclusivity, they want to be heard.
Okay.
Okay. They want to feel involved. They don't like to be told. they want to know what exactly is happening. If you are saying do this, why should I do this? How it will have an impact on the organization? How is the organization doing? So they want a word out there. They want to be heard. If you take care of that, they are much more open. And also, they like to have a balance, which probably was not there in our generation, where they want to have time for their leisure, their hobbies, you know. And the moment they feel that the work is kind of stepping into that, that makes them uncomfortable.
Very powerful. Very powerful. So this is actually the way to handle anybody, more so the young Gen Zs.
Yeah.
All right. So what about the new technology? For example, AI. How can
Mhm.
HR people use AI to do better in their career journey?
Yeah. So, in fact, we have this morning stand up meeting, and yesterday we got talking on this. We were saying, so we were talking about different situations in the organization and people issues and stuff. So, we were talking that, HR's job will never go out of fashion because we deal with people and people are very unique. So, there is no success mantra over there, right? It worked well here, so it
Correct.
will work well. They just go and apply it. No, it doesn't work. It will
Correct.
just backfire. Every individual is different, their environment is different, their thinking is different, so they respond very differently to every context. But said that, uh, all this very operational, very transactional routine work is
Mm-hmm.
something which would get impacted by AI.
Mm-hmm.
Which would, I won't say which is getting impacted by AI. So if you're into talent acquisition in a large organization where your job was to source CVs and filter, you know, that job will not exist.
Correct.
Yeah. I have today AI available which can filter, look at the matches, give a rating to me and tell me that this profile has 90 or 100, this profile has 80 or 100. So there's no human requirement to filter, which HR used to do, right? Yeah. So what you have to do is that identify those areas which can automate and build people skill.
Correct.
As I said, build your market, business, this connection that works, right? Or in
Correct.
this different aspect, build that, build people skill. And that would never go out of fashion. That is what
Correct.
you will get valued for.
Very nicely put, Sapna. So, any advice for people at the middle level?
I think it is the same, not to fear, not to be scared of AI and technology, rather face it and figure out in your space of work how do you automate? How do you remove this operational and transactional work out and use that time that you have to create value to the organization and to your employees?
Advice for the or suggestions for the people at the senior level?
I would say the same thing, not to get scared. Changes
Very
change
nice.
would always exist, and that's the only constant what they say, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's going
So
to
we hope,
change.
yeah. And the faster you adopt to the technology, the faster you show the openness to adopt the technology. I think opportunities will open more faster for you.
Correct. And this is how maybe this is one way to connect with the young Gen Z because they'll be able to tell us more about how the new technology. So I ask my kids what to do, how to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do that. Like I was struggling with some picture that day. I spent so much of time, and then all I did is that I called up and told my son I want my picture to be converted into this. And he was like, "Okay, send it to me in 5 minutes." Is back. Shit, I should have called you before. Why didn't I call you before? I
Correct.
wasted my time.
Correct.
Yeah. But
I,
it's also important that you also build those skills.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct.
Your
Correct.
children would respect you if you also have some knowledge on those areas and you understand technology.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it has been an hour. I didn't know how fast time passed,
Same here.
Sapna. So it has been a pleasure interacting with you. So many insights, so many wonderful lessons for the people who would be listening to this podcast. So thank you. Thank you, Sapna. Thanks for your
Thank
time.
you so much, Amit. Pleasure talking to you. Thank you.